In this video, I'm going to walk you through a recent tile repair job I did at one of my short-term rentals. Join me as I tackle the challenge of fixing my Airbnb floor tiles in one day. So let's see if I brought the tools and the skills required to get this project rent ready. One more project we've got on the docket this trip are some cracked tiles. So a while ago, this house shifts and we noticed that some of these tiles are starting to ride up. At one point there was just one tile and I put some packing tape on it just to keep the sharp edges down and safe until I could really take care of it, but you can see we've lost another one and this one's starting to crack, so I think we've got to take up 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles and possibly pull the toilet to replace that one. I've got a couple new tiles and I did bring a nice new toilet ring just in case we have to pull that, then get it back down. You never want to trust an old ring, especially one that's been here probably as long as this one has, 4 or 5 years. You want to just clean it up, start fresh. So that's what we're going to do. Going to try and do that today and then grout tomorrow. I'm about to start demoing the couple tiles that are cracked here around the toilet. It looks like 1, 2, 3 are completely cracked in half and they're flexing. Probably a bad tile job where they really didn't bind down to the plywood below. Also, this house being on stilts moves quite a bit, so we see a lot of movement in the trim, the drywall, everything here. So I'm going to try and get these out without having to take up the toilet. If I do, I have that extra wax ring so we can put it back down appropriately. I got a new grout ripper, which I've never tried before. Try and get these seams up without disturbing the tiles around it. If that doesn't work, I'll go back to just the old tools I have, chisels, hammer, try and break these apart without cracking any additional tiles, especially because I don't have more than 3 tiles. So hopefully we get this project done quickly and without damaging anything else. I got the 3 cracked tiles out, didn't have to pull the toilet, so that was great news. I got 3 additional tiles out along the shower that weren't cracked, but they were loose, so it was going to be much easier to put these back down with everything that's loose kind of out of the way. And so here you can see I've got a little bit more prep to do, but I found why this tile failed. 2 reasons. First, the caulking at the shower had failed, allowing water to get onto the subfloor under the tiles. You can see where it's all kind of pitted and cracked there. Maybe a little bit mold. So we might hit that with some Tilex before we put anything down. And what that allowed the water to do was get between the tile, the mortar, and this old glue. So there was linoleum on this floor before the tile, and it wasn't a great prep job. The linoleum came up, but the glue stayed, and that's actually what pulled apart, was the glue from the mortar of the tile. One other challenge I'm facing here is the tiles that I managed to save have all this old mortar on them. And this is actually bonded pretty well. You can see here where some of that glue is still on there with a little bit of mold. I've got to try and get all that off and get it prepped so that when these tiles go down, they lay flat with what's still here. That's about flush right now. So if I mortared this as is, this is going to pop up, and that's not what I want. Properties with updated tile flooring in key areas like the kitchen or bathroom can charge a premium of 5 to 10% over comparable properties without modern, easy to clean flooring. And of course, I forgot to video one of the most important parts of this job, remortaring the tiles down to the subfloor. We're just going to have to flash forward to grouting the tile and cleaning it up. A survey of Airbnb hosts revealed that about 35 to 50% of properties actually use tile flooring. A couple of the products I used for this tile job came from Lowe's, and I used this pre-mixed tile adhesive and a pre-mixed grout. I've never used the adhesive before. I kind of liked it, not just because it was pre-mixed and ready to go. I was able to tile this late last night. But it seemed a little bit stickier than regular mortar, definitely thinner, so I had a hard time building it up and kind of keeping it firm, laying the tiles down. It didn't have as much coverage as I was hoping, so I did have to run out and get another small quart of it just to kind of finish up. For about 5 tiles, so it took 2 quarts for 5 tiles. The other product is this pre-mixed grout. This was the original grout I used, and this was left over, so I'm hoping that it is actually decent and isn't going to flake off or dry out. It seems to cover pretty well. It went in nice, but time will tell if it seems to kind of get beat up again, and we'll see how that goes. I like this because it's pre-mixed, it's sticky, it dries quick, but on the other hand, I don't like it because it dries so quick. And you have to really be at it. You can't grout a large area, and it says that right on the bucket that you should grout a small area to start and see how quickly it dries and work your way around the floor from there. But for here, small application, it seemed to work well. All right, the final analysis on this tile job. It was very rushed, and I feel like I didn't have the material I needed to do it the right way. I used 3 tiles that I had left over from the original job. I had to repurpose some that came up. The material I used was okay. I would have liked a little bit more time to prep the job, get new tiles. They're probably not available because they're about 5 years old now. And I think it'll hold up okay. There's other squishy spots in this floor that probably aren't gonna last. So I think the final verdict on this is that this is gonna survive the remainder of this rental season. And then next year, probably in the winter, we're gonna come back, tear up the rest of the floor, prep it right, possibly with cement board, and do a new tile, something that's a little bit more up to date, and that's gonna hold up a little bit longer. So time's always a factor, and on this one, we just had to get it done. We're out of here tomorrow morning, so about a day to do this entire job was all we had, so that's what we got.